Welcome back, everyone. The Google Pixel 6 actually just ended up coming out, so let's go and compare it against the Samsung Galaxy S20 and see which specific phone you should go and pick up. Now, I will tell you there's pros and cons for both. I think the Pixel 6 may be the better one in some ways. The Galaxy S20 is also a really cool phone too. Right now, the Galaxy S20 is a little bit cheaper in the used market. The $599 price tag for the Pixel 6 is still really good for a brand new phone, but the Samsung Galaxy S20 is actually cheaper than that on Amazon. So I'll leave both of these linked down in the description below. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, there is a little bit of a difference. So the Pixel 6 is the bigger phone in pretty much every single area. There's a little bit more bezel on the Pixel 6, but you do get a really nice panel. It's 1080p, 6.4-inch AMOLED display, 90 Hz panel too. So this is still a really good panel. And for that price tag, like I mentioned, it's actually a really good looking phone. And I have very few things to complain about with this specific device. Now, the Galaxy S20, it's a little bit of a smaller 6.2-inch dynamic AMOLED display. It has, fingerprint sensor doesn't display on both, but you do have a 120 Hz refresh rate on the Galaxy S20. So it definitely does look a little bit better, I think, on the Galaxy S20 than on the, Pixel 6, but the Pixel 6 display is still good, but the Galaxy S20 had one of the best displays ever made, in my opinion. Hole punch displays on both, USB Type-C at the bottom, a micro SD card slot on the Galaxy S20 too, so that's another big thing to keep in mind. In terms of the thinness and thickness, I definitely do think that the Pixel 6 is a little bit thicker than the Galaxy S20. And on the back, glass backs on both. Now, one of the things I never really liked about the Galaxy S20 was how the back looked. It didn't look that great. I wasn't a fan of the back of this phone. The Pixel 6 still looks beautiful. I'm a huge fan of how the Google Pixel 6 looks. Both have wireless charging and reverse wireless charging, which is great. Triple camera setup on the S20, dual camera setup on the Pixel 6. Power button on the side, IP certification and everything on both as well, and that really pretty much covers it up. So I definitely do think in some ways I'm a fan of the Galaxy S20, in some ways I'm a fan of the Pixel 6, but one of the biggest, I think, weirder aspects of the Galaxy S20 is with the software. I'm not a fan of One UI. It's kind of bloated, and the software updates, it's actually been getting a lot of software updates, which is really good, but it is going to be cut short at some point. It's definitely going to be supportive for the time being, but it's not going to be here forever. So that's a pretty big thing to keep in mind. With the Pixel 6, because it is a newer phone, you're not only going to be getting more software support, but it's also stock software, and it's a Google Pixel. So Google is going to be supporting these things like crazy, and it has a newer chipset inside of it with that Tensor chipset that Google made. So this thing's probably going to be around for probably even longer than that. So a lot of people are going to get their hands on it. You can custom ROM this phone too. But with the Galaxy S20, it's still good. Some people may prefer, One UI. I don't, but if you do, then that's more of an advantage for the S20. So in terms of that covers it up there. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between both these phones. The Samsung Galaxy S20 has that Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 chipset inside of it with 8 gigs of RAM, where the Google Pixel 6 has that Google Tensor chipset inside of it, that brand new one, with 8 gigs of RAM as well. So let's go and see which one is the faster phone between both of these. Okay, there we go. Let's go and clear out the apps in the background, which they are already cleared out except for these ones. So there we go. Let's go and get into it. Let's do phone calls. 3, 2, 1. And possibly the Galaxy S20 was a little bit faster there. Camera, 3, 2, 1. Pretty much the same thing on both. Let's take a photo. And okay, so both of them weren't on night mode. Actually, they were. I should have let them keep going, but it's totally okay. Hops out of that one. Let's go into the Play Stores. 3, 2, 1. And I don't know why with all my Galaxies, they've been stuck on no network connection problems. So I don't know what's going on between those. Scrolling through between these two, you can kind of see pretty much the same thing too, not a big difference. Let's go and get into something like their settings application, which may seem random, but you can kind of tell a lot sometimes. 3, 2, 1. And actually, I don't know which one was faster there, but scrolling through here, you can kind of get a glimpse of all the settings. And as always, we have a bunch of these third-party applications we can go and get into. Let's do Temper Run 2, 3, 2, 1. And the Pixel 6 looks like it was a little bit ahead of the Galaxy S20. So I'm not really too sure what happened there. It could look like the S20 kind of hanged there, but totally okay. The Pixel 6 was faster there, and the Galaxy S20 was a little bit behind. Hopping out of this application, let's do Snake vs. Blocks, 3, 2, 1. Almost the exact same thing. There really wasn't that big of a difference at all between them, and everything's probably going to be the same in terms of gameplay. Hopping out of this one, let's go and get into Stack, 3, 2, 1. And a little bit of a pop-up on the bottom of the Pixel 6, so I actually don't know which one was faster there. That's kind of weird. Let's do Bofa, 3, 2, 1. Network connection problem again on the Galaxy S20. Hopping out of this one, let's go and get into Dune, which I do not have here. Quizlet 321. Really fast on the Galaxy S20. I don't know why that was so fast on that one. Twitter 321. I think the Galaxy S20 again was the faster one there. Hopping out of this one, let's go and get into something like Thank You, which I do not have here. We can try Fruit Ninja 321. And you can see Galaxy S20 a little bit slower than the Pixel 6. Totally okay, like I mentioned. Hopping out of this specific application, let's go ahead and get into Netflix, which I do not have here, which is very strange. And we can try some of these other applications that are built in between both. So things like the stock Google applications that I'm sure everyone probably knows. So we can go into their stock messages app 321. I think faster on the Galaxy S20 by a little bit. We're actually seeing some pretty interesting things between both, which is so interesting to me. We can go into their Photos apps, 321. I think it was a little faster on the Galaxy S20 again. So I think ultimately we're seeing a very interesting thing. The Galaxy S20, very fast phone, much faster than I thought, but the Google Pixel 6 is still very, very fast for sure as well. So in terms of that, that covers it up here. Now let's go and hit on the cameras. Now, like I mentioned before, triple camera setup on the Galaxy S20, wide, ultra-wide, and telephoto lens, where the Google Pixel 6 has a wide-angle lens and an ultra-wide sensor. So a pretty cool thing. I mean, both are great 4K at 60 on the back, but you do have 8K capability on the Galaxy S20, which is beautiful to see. On the front, you do have a little bit of a difference. The Galaxy S20 can do 4K at 60. The Google Pixel 6 can only do 1080p on the front of this Pixel 6. The Pixel 6 Pro can go higher, but this one only 1080p. Now, in terms of the camera quality, I mean, I'll definitely tell you, I think the Pixel 6 camera is very good. I have very few things to complain about this specific camera, but I think with the Galaxy S20, this is, I mean, still a really good camera setup. The UI is a little bit glitchier, I think, than the Google Pixel one, but both are actually not even that great compared to iOS. But I don't think both are that great either. I feel like all camera manufacturers, iOS, iPhones, Apple, Google, Samsung, all these people need to really improve their camera UI. They're all kind of weird, to be honest. They both have the same type of capability, but you do have that 8K capability on the Galaxy S20. So I do think in many ways the Galaxy S20 is a better camera, but the post-processing of the Google Pixel 6 kind of makes this phone a little bit better in some areas too. So that's another pretty big thing to keep in mind. But to be honest, and I will do a full camera comparison between these two at some point, but to be honest, when it comes down to both of these, which specific phone should you go and pick up? I will tell you, I think the Pixel 6 in some ways is a better phone here and there. This is the newer one. I feel like with the Galaxy S20 has way more features built in, but the Pixel 6 for $599 brand new, you can't really go wrong with this phone. You have a lot of capability, beautiful display, 90 hertz, refresh rate, really good build quality for this type of phone for being a Pixel. We were expecting it to not be as good feeling. Beautiful back, wireless charging, reverse wireless charging, IP certification, the whole 9 yards. This is a really good phone, and I'm sure a lot of people would agree. Now, with something like the Galaxy S20, this is the flagship of last year. So it's still going to be here for a long period of time, probably for the next couple of years. It's not perfect, like I mentioned. I don't like the software too much, but everything else about this phone I love. The camera quality on this I think is better than the Pixel 6. The panel is better than the Pixel 6. The performance was really close. I don't even know if one was faster than the other one, so that kind of threw me off. Micro SD card slot on this phone, still really good build quality. Like, this is a really good phone too. So in my opinion, you can't really go wrong with either one of these. I think the Galaxy S20 has more features, but the Pixel 6 is probably the one I would recommend more people to buy. So in terms of that covers it up there. If you guys have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.